Hello once again and welcome to this Kane's Wrath game on Tournament Dustbowl, which Kane's Wrath, I don't know if you know this, but it's a pretty fun game. And in the bottom side, I almost said the bottom right side, but just in the bottom side, dropping down a power plant and a hand of nod, probably for an engineer, I would assume, so we can grab that Tib spike, sells it off, but anyways, he is mOkin-Tib3riUm, and he is red and marked of Kane. And on the top side, also throwing down and selling off base defenses, and I'm assuming a barracks as well, is green 0, playing as the green Steel Talons, which I feel like if you have a color in your name, you should always do your best to play that color. Because, I mean, otherwise, it's just kind of silly. Unless you have, like, taupe is your name. I don't think taupe is an option in many games. I think there are very few games with taupe as an option. And there is actually no EMP in the center of this map. Maybe there never was. Maybe I'm thinking of a different map. But there is 2 Tib3riUm spikes on each side, which are usually captured kind of right off the bat. But I mean, these 2 players are going for, you know, pretty standard, sell off a whole bunch of base defenses so you can get infantry squads, drop down a war factory, get extra refineries, probably going to drop down another refinery, and then after that, who knows, but that's pretty standard play. I'm assuming they're going to get a barracks up at some point to capture the Tib3riUm spikes, because those do, of course, give you free money. And, you know, free money, well, I guess kind of, I'm not even gonna get into the technicalities of whether money is free in this game or not, and how capturing a Tib3riUm spike can relate. Anyways, attack buggy, there it is. Attack buggy going for a little bit of harassment on green 0's Tib3riUm harvesters, which, yes, these are heavy harvesters because he is Steel Talon, so I don't believe, yeah, they have more defense, but they don't have any way, you can't garrison troops inside like Zocom can, and they don't come with just a basic anti-infantry weapon like the vanilla GDI do. And I'm assuming the Pitbull shot down that attack buggy in the MCV didn't run it over, but the MCV, of course, reverse moving, because if you're going to move, reverse move. And it does look like he's going to be setting up an expansion, most likely dropping. I have the telestrator, so moving his MCV right over there, as you can see, and probably going to be dropping a Tib3riUm refinery, so we can get that harvester. He's up to 5 harvesters over here, and I haven't been showing our nod player a lot of love, who is also up to 5 harvesters, and yes, he is moved his MCV over here, probably going to be, you know, harvesting from this expansion. Oh, from that expansion there. He's already got, as you can see here, and here, he already does have some harvesters there, but we do have pit bulls moving in from the north, and they're probably going to be attacking this harvester, and that harvester, and this one, and maybe these guys. But these guys will probably kill those guys. And EMP goes down. Oh yes, that's right, these guys have that EMP. What's their actual name? The Awakened. Yes, they do have that EMP ability, EMP Blast, as it is so accurately named, where you can power down vehicles in a very small radius. Well, rather small. I mean, he did get 2 pit bulls in one blast, but that's not a big radius. Pit bulls, unfortunately, can't run over fruit stands, which is, I mean, that's a pretty big deal. Because why are you even playing the game if you can't run over fruit stands? That's a pretty necessary part of any RTS game. Anyways, we have 6 attack bikes versus only 4 pit bulls, which 8 pit bulls now, which, nope, still 6 attack bikes. And Scorpion tanks on the move. Not on the move, but they're being produced, which is almost as good as being on the move. And a lone infantry squad, rifleman squad, actually, which is on the east side of the map. Looks like we're going to have 1 pit bull versus about 6 attack bikes, 3 pit bulls, and some heavy harvesters. Heavy harvesters not going to do a lot of attacking, will absorb quite a few shots, and, you know, you can do the little... Where did the attack bikes go? I guess they retreated a little bit. I thought they were going to make an actual attack, but that's a lot of pit bulls, so it's actually, I guess it's good for mOkin-Tib3riUm that he didn't. He should also probably quit smoking Tib3riUm because, I mean, Tib3riUm kills you as is, so if you're smoking it, it can't be good for your lungs or, you know, the rest of your body. But anyways, you can do the ring around the rosy, so to speak, with your, I'm missing something going down there, but you can, you know, run your harvesters around buildings, and then they'll get repaired by the war factory while they're being attacked. I believe that was covered in an episode of Command School, which is, you know, where I learned about it, because think of something like that myself. Please, I couldn't do that. So anyways, we got pit bulls taking down scorpion tanks, which in these numbers, these pit bulls are very dangerous, especially when you only have 2-3 scorpion tanks. Oh, never mind, he's got a bunch. So, mOkin-Tib3riUm, he does have a fair number of scorpion tanks. Hasn't got that huge massed army yet, as you can tell, but he does have, you know, supplemented with attack bikes and rockets, militant rocket squads. Gotta get the names proper. Between the 3 games, 3 universes, sheesh. So, and as you can see, this Tib3riUm field almost, you know, gone. So I think mOkin-Tib3riUm needs to lay back on his addiction a little bit, just kind of breathe some fresh air every once in a while. And it does look like he has got that Tib3riUm Infusion, I believe that's what it's called. Yes, Tib3riUm Infusion upgrade for infantry, which increases movement speed, hit points, and of course invulnerability to Tib3riUm, which can be rather advantageous if you're going for some sort of a Tib3riUm harvester or harassment, destroying. I mean, it just keeps them alive a little bit longer. Heavily favoring the Steel Talons player Green Zero in that engagement where he had far superior numbers, and even if mOkin would have microed perfectly, I doubt he could have saved that. But we do have scorpion tanks moving out on the right side of the map, and of course the what are these called? Pit bulls retreating, because I mean that's a fair amount of scorpions. 9 or something. Yeah, 9 scorpions versus a bunch of wolverines, and they do have that ammo upgrade, armor-piercing ammo, and they were able to take down the biological weapon version of the Black Hand. I forget what they're called. They're basically Black Hand, but with chemical weapons. Stealth tanks versus pit bulls. You know, there's a lot of pit bulls, and stealth tanks don't really do anything because the pit bulls have detection, and by don't do anything, I mean the stealth doesn't do anything. They can obviously, you know, their rockets do very well versus pit bulls, but also infantry squads moving in from the top, kind of the top of smoking space, but Green Zero's pit bulls are pulling off to the right side, probably going to be able to take down a couple of these harvesters if he focuses them down, and depending on how well mOkin micros his mOkin red scorpion tanks. I tried to be clever, didn't really work. Ended up not making sense. We do have expanding down to the left side Tib3riUm field, so now, you know, map's basically half, well, 2/3 gone, because starting Tib3riUm fields are starting to regrow just because they, you know, haven't been harvesting them, which it's not necessarily the worst idea in the world to leave a single harvester back here and then sell off your excess refineries, as I'm sure both players did do. Because, I mean, if you've only got 0 or no harvesters there, then MCV going down most likely. I can't really see... Well, I mean, you know, if Green Zero retreats, then it'll be saved, but he might have been able to hold that off. Green Zero might have been able to continue that attack, I mean, and take down the MCV, which would have been a pretty big deal, because I don't believe either player ever built a crane. No, mOkin never built a crane, and I have not seen a crane out of Green Zero, so if either player loses their MCV, which Green Zero might have sold his MCV off, because that does get you 2,500 cash, which is a nice little econ boost, but, you know, if you lose your MCV, no more build queue, then you have to rebuild your MCV from your war factory. That's 5 Gs, which, especially moving into the late game, you don't want to spend that kind of money. But we do have a lot of pit bulls moving in from the top, and the enlightened sort of special infantry, and 8 pit bulls did get locked down by a single EMP, I believe. Could have been 2 EMPs. Good micro coming from mOkin-Tib3riUm, able to lock those down. Wasn't able to kill them, but maybe he can get his avatar to step on a few. That would be pretty good. Looks like green Tib3riUm is reverse moving them out of there because just didn't have enough real heavy-hitting firepower to decisively win that battle for Green Zero. Smokin had infantry squads, and he had avatars, as well as, you know, the harvesters, which while they don't attack anything, they can absorb a lot of shots if Green Zero doesn't micro his pit bulls properly. And then you've got your pit bulls attacking harvesters while they're being killed off by rocket squads and avatars, and then you got no pit bulls, and maybe you killed some harvesters. But you really want to be focusing on the attacking units that are killing you, you know, if you're going to stick around for the battle. You do have a very lone, very brave Wolverine that just got thrown up in the air by a laser. Because that's a thing. Finally grabbing that Tib3riUm spike, and I guess both players did, and I completely missed it because I am so good at watching the minimap. But anyways, that's not hugely important in the later game. I mean, it is important as the Tib3riUm fields dry up that both players do have those Tib3riUm spikes. Obviously, if one player out of power though, mOkin-Tib3riUm needs to build a couple of more power plants, and actually, if he can grab a Tib3riUm refinery and sell it off, that would be a pretty big deal. Dropping down a SAM site, I don't really know what the point of that was. I mean, he's in the middle of green zone base, so I can understand if he dropped an obelisk, but that might have been why he lost power. But anyways, if one of the players could, you know, sprint across the map and take down that Tib3riUm spike, it could play a pretty big role as the game goes on, because as you can see, basically no Tib3riUm in the, you know, starting and then the close expansions. You got your starting location, which, you know, Smokin could, wait. Oh. He was able to get that heavy harvester out of there. So good on him, he got a free harvester, I guess, which if he keeps that there, that'll, you know, bring in that income, which he can definitely use. Massive amounts of pit bulls out of Green Zero. Sheesh, I thought, you know, you were supposed to mix your units for the ideal combination, not just mass pit bulls, but I guess, you know, that was kind of a complaint that people had about CNC3 and Kane's Wrath. But pit bull's very good at killing off those harvesters if you can get them in close enough without, you know, getting taken down by an obelisk or stealth tanks, scorpion tanks. I know these names, I swear. So anyways, we do have almost a stalemate. I mean, it's not a stalemate because both players do have plenty of units, but both players aren't really doing too much. We do have a minor engagement. We got orcas, you know, flying around the maps trying to take down some harvesters, trying to get a real advantage. And it looks like launching some mortars into the Tib3riUm field, not really doing anything because they take so long to get there, the mortars that is. Orca's trying to perform hit and run on the harvesters, but looks like, well, I was going to say looks like Smokin's doing a good job of keeping his harvesters back and killing stray pit bulls, as you saw there. And we have more pit bulls moving in from kind of the west side of the map into Smokin's base, but he has militant rocket squads and also a number of avatars here, that number specifically being 3, which 3 avatars can kill a lot of pit bulls, and also ion cannon, which I have yet to cast a game. Bad choice. Good choice with the Tib3riUm missile, but I have yet to cast a game with a super weapon that actually fires, I believe. I might be mistaken. But anyways, Tib3riUm did drop the, I forget what it's called exactly, Tib3riUm Catalyst missile, took down, I believe, 2 refineries. And then Smokin did have 2 stealth tanks here that tried to fire on the orcas and ended up getting taken out. And also, I want to mention real fast, Reclamator Hub. Possibly could be seeing a Marv, which Marv, always very fun. I enjoy using the Marv. And we do have a lot of pit bulls moving in, launching off their mortars, not really hitting anything. Just, you know, use the mortars on the buildings instead of trying to hit units with them. But he did get, what is this? Supercharged particle beams, such a good upgrade, which, if you don't know, it is an upgrade only Marked of Kane can get for their basic infantry turrets, and you get that upgrade, and the turrets do almost as much damage to vehicles as the laser turret, and they fire super fast. So if you've got, you know, and they're considerably cheaper, and they probably use less electricity. Let's double check that. But so you can drop a couple of these shredder turrets. Yeah, they use less electricity, they're half the price, so you can drop 2 shredder turrets for the price of 1 laser turret, and they do more damage, because you got, you know, and also if he gets the quad turret upgrade, then he'll have 4 turrets, but you've got twice as many turrets for the same amount of money, less power, so you're spending less on power plants, and they do basically the same amount of damage. I believe the technicals of it is one of these, one shredder turret group does almost as much damage with the supercharged particle upgrade to vehicles as the laser turrets. I believe that's what they meant, because I don't think they were talking about like cost. Like for $1,200 you get 2 shredder turrets that together almost do as much damage. I believe it was 1 shredder turret and 1 laser turret, if that makes sense, if you guys know what I'm saying. Which I hope you do, because I spent a really long time explaining that. Anyway, supercharged particle beam on shredder turrets, pretty good upgrade. I mean, just in general, takes out huge amounts of infantry. We do have 2 shadow squads, which shadow teams, haven't seen those. You do not have enough shadow teams to take down a ion cannon, MCV, or a tech center. But they are stealthed, and that's very useful. And I don't know if, yeah, he did spot those. So he knows what's up. Green Zero knows that mOkin-Tib3riUm's trying to pull a fast one, and he does have the Marv with 2 engineers and 2 missile squads in them, which, that was almost always my combination. Sometimes I'd get the zone troopers in there, because that was always pretty cool. Oh, all of those pit bulls go down. Very, very, very well placed support power. What is that called? Tiberium Vein Detonation does cost $4,000, almost as much as a super weapon, which is something he might want to get. But Spectrum Cannon, Spectres, very good as well. They're of course the NOD, Long Range Artillery, which I believe they are available to all classes. They are not stealthed with the Black Hand, because Black Hand doesn't have stealth. But all NOD classes do have them in the expansion. We do have another set of shadow teams, which probably just using that upgrade, and sensor pods being dropped all over the map, which this is a really good move from Green Zero, because sensor pod, it costs 100 credits, so you know you are spending some money, but it's not very much. Also pretty good stealthing those avatars, which this is kind of going to be the big battle. We got Behemoths, kind of the older brother, so to speak, to the Juggernaut. I believe that's what the idea was. And the Spectre, oh, such good use of EMP. He just needs to get his avatars up there, being able to do the damage to the Marv, but Spectre is going to be able to take out the Marv pretty quickly, especially if mOkin-Tib3riUm is able to chain this power down and keep it locked down with the EMP, which he is. Another EMP, this Marv is most likely going down. No amount of engineers can save you now, I'm going to guess. Okay, yeah. Like I said, went down. I totally called that. I was just really hoping the Marv didn't escape, because then I'd look like a fool. I'd be proved wrong like that other game, where I made a wrong prediction. Let's just forget about that. It didn't happen. We do have Venoms, which also, if you didn't know, Supercharged Particle Beam does apply to Venoms, making them do probably 2 or 3 times as much damage as they originally did. Another set of shadow teams, and a minute left on the ion cannon. Don't take your eye off of that, because we want to watch where that goes down, because that could be the deciding factor in this game. Because if you're able to ion cannon an army, that's pretty devastating, because you wipe out an entire army, and especially this late in the game where the money is pretty scarce, that can be a game ender, which, you know, brilliant deduction, I know. I'm Sherlock Holmes, basically. But Orcas, oh, mOkin-Tib3riUm has no anti-aircraft with this. Oh, yes, he does. He has Venoms. My bad. He didn't have any anti-aircraft with his main army, but stealth Spectres are going to be able to take down possibly everything, including this ion cannon, which Green Zone really needs to take down these Spectres. He needs to muster something up, maybe bringing in the Pit Bulls to take care of the Venoms, and then taking down the Spectres with a mix of Pit Bulls and Orcas, because he really needs to hold on to this ion control center, which he did have the laser fencing around it, which did add to the damage bonus. And is he going to get to fire it? I believe he is. Where's it firing at? Where is he charging the laser? Oh yeah, we got an ion cannon strike. Was that in what? Where was the animation? What the heck? I didn't even get to see the ion cannon animation. I don't know if it was recorded, but that was totally lame. And now the ion cannon's almost dead. That animation is pretty cool. I look forward to that animation. But the Spectres are gone, and the avatars, although they are stealth, which is why they were able to escape, are weakened. We have, you know, one almost dead, one with a little bit of life taken away, and one full health. Man, that sucks. I like that ion cannon animation. Was able to take down a couple of buildings. I didn't actually get to look at what, because I was so excited about the ion cannon animation, and then it was just gone. And we have a whole bunch of Pit Bulls coming in, going to be able to take down that weakened avatar. He's going to want to clean up those husks so that Smokin can't re-grab them, can't recapture them, or Green Zone is going to want to capture that himself, of course. And we do have more Spectres being produced by Smokin. And the Pit Bulls and Orca combo has pulled back this game so long. But it's been a good game. I've definitely been enjoying myself. I hope you have been too. I mean, it's been somewhat slow with not a whole lot of big engagements, but there have been a number of engagements. Ion cannon back to basically full health. And we do have the spotting beacon, whatever that's called, for the Spectres. And drops the Guardian, whatever that's called, Guardian cannon right next to it. Did allow the Spectre cannons to fire upon the MCV and the Reclamator hub, which I would say that's worth it. Artillery beacon, that's what it's officially called. So if Green Zero was paying attention, he'll be able to drop another guard tower and take care of that. Engineer, can he get it? Yes, Engineer does in fact repair the MCV, and the guard tower, watch tower, does take down the artillery beacon. So looks like, while it was a good plan from mOkin-Tib3riUm to try and take out the MCV or the Reclamator hub, and he almost did both, was not able to pull it off. Green Zero just paying too much attention, too good of game sense, was able to take that down, shut it down before it was able to do too much damage. And does have the anti-air defense, which mOkin-Tib3riUm, you got free harvester kills. Well, maybe not anymore, but might be able to. I think this harvester will be out of range. Not anymore, because Green Zero dropped that anti-aircraft battery, but it was. I believe it would have been out of range. He might want to. He could totally send those Venom over here, or, you know, take out these units in the building, because this is giving Green Zero map vision and kind of map control, because it's denying, you know, units from going through this passage without taking damage and without also being seen. Orca bombardment support power used was used very well. He was able to, you do have to call that in advance, and then you've got, you know, like a 30-second lapse time between, okay, not a 30-second lapse time, but you do have a, you know, a 10-second lapse time in between when you call the support power in and when it actually strikes. So you always, if you're launching it on enemy moving units, you always have to be careful to make sure that you get it in the right spot, or else it's, you know, $500 down the drain and you have to wait for it to recharge. We got Spectres firing once again on the ion cannon and taking down that watchtower almost immediately. I'm not sure what the purpose of that watchtower is. I mean, when you've got 4 avatars outside of your base, a single watchtower isn't going to do much, but I do believe this ion cannon will go down unless somehow, some way, mOkin-Tib3riUm took it down. Never mind. Yeah, Green Zero couldn't save it. He was able to sell off the the tech center, so he does get those credits back. But I mean, he's not producing too much other than orcas, which mOkin-Tib3riUm has the venoms to counter the orcas, and also the stealth tank. So this is a, he doesn't have much in the way of anti-infantry, but stealth tanks can run over infantry, Avatar can step on infantry, as well as just shoot them down one at a time. And even Spectres, I'm not sure if they can, because certain vehicles can't run over infantry, but I'm not sure if Spectres fall into that category. We do have, like, possibly one last strike with the orcas, gonna try and take down the Avatars, is almost able to get one, takes down the stealth tank instead. All of the orcas go down except for 3. And the venoms, I think half of them went down. There was 6 before. We still have all of our Spectres. We did lose 1 Avatar, I believe there was. Yes, there was 4 Avatars originally, and it does look like mOkin-Tib3riUm is just kind of picking apart Green Zero at this point. Green Zero doesn't have a whole lot left in the way of economy. He doesn't have a whole lot left in the way of army. I mean, even production facilities are dwindling, as he has the Reclamator hub and an airfield, but he's got long-range artillery closing in, no way to deal with the artillery, and no way to really deal with the venoms, which, Orca are his strongest units right now. Had to sell off the Reclamator hub, only got a Grenadier squad, not even zone troopers. Which I'm not sure if Steel Talons has zone troopers. Was able to take out 1 Spectre, but he still got 5. Orca is going to be able to not take out any more. If he would have held on that Orca attack, he would have been able to take out possibly 2 more Spectres, but, I mean, mOkin still has 4 more, plus a stealth tank and an Avatar moving in, not to mention the Venoms taking care of the infantry easily, and also taking care of all the Orcas. We do have possibly a last hurrah with a Rifleman squad, which, hey, we saw Rifleman squad win another match. Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen that match, LOA 5000 versus, I forget who, but it was a rather comical match that I cast a couple weeks ago, or something, and Green Zero has left the game. And we saw, kind of in the end game, mOkin-Tib3riUm just started to pull ahead, and then Green Zero never really got the momentum back. No, I don't want to save that. Where are my graphs? I wanted to see the graphs and kind of talk while the graphs were there to kind of wrap up the game, but it didn't let me, so now it's just going to be the menu system. So yeah, mOkin-Tib3riUm, both players had pretty standard openers. There was nothing really wonky or crazy out of either player in the opening, and then as the game progressed, we saw a lot of, massing up of pit bowls, which, I mean, it wouldn't have hurt if Green Zero would have gotten some Steel Talons, what are the tank units called? Oh no, now I'm wasting your time even more than I normally do, because I don't remember the unit names. Steel Talons, not the Wolverines, the other guys that, have Titans. If he would have gotten some Titans, he would have been able to, better deal with the Avatars and the Scorpion tanks, which we saw the Scorpion tanks in a couple of engagements. They were, of course, able to push back, or in some cases, destroy the Pitbull numbers. But I mean, both players had good solid play. There was nothing like super wonky or super crazy cool builds, but it was like standard. They were doing the right things. They were doing the tried and true, which there's nothing wrong with that. That's how you win games. But anyways, exciting match. I enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it. This is Sybert, signing out.